right, y'all, this is Nathan with the Airbnb course, and the purpose of this training here today is teach you how to win with Airbnb resolution requests, right? Hopefully it doesn't happen very often, but you do enough business and you're going to have to submit one. So I'm going to teach you how to win, and this is to help you get what you deserve and avoid getting a bad review in retaliation, some trend that I've been noticing among guests recently. All right, so let's just dive into it here, right? There's a few reasons for a resolution request, right? There might be a party where you've got to charge for the extra people. There might be a damage to your property or personal property, or, there might be some extra labor, like, an extra cleaning fee or extra services, right? And it might not have anything to do with anything bad that happened, right? We charge I think it's $10 a night for a pack and play rental. So we just do that through the resolution request. But that's not really what we're talking about here today. We're talking about, something happening after the fact, right? Damage or a party or something like that, right? Extra cleaning. And so the best thing to do, we're here to talk about how to win resolution requests, but the best way to win is to not have them at all, right? So on the front end, you can do a lot with your house rules, and you can check out my house rules here. To kind of deter would-be troublemakers and have them kind of self-select out of booking your place to begin with, right? Now, you only want to keep, 100% deal breakers in here, right? If somebody doesn't squeegee the shower, that's not really kind of a house rule that you want to put in here, right? These are 100% deal breakers. If they don't do them, they're going to get evicted, kind of thing, right? That's the kind of house rules you want to put in here. And so if you check out at the bottom here, most importantly, you got to have an amazing time, right? If people don't have an amazing time in my home, we evict them. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But the other things are definitely deal breakers there, right? And then there's a little disclosure about the camera, which I highly recommend that you put on the front of your door when you can afford it. So let's talk about evidence, right? When you submit a resolution request, you're going to need evidence, photo evidence. Videos are better, especially if they contain audio evidence. We had somebody on video, really, quote unquote, self-incriminate themselves, and that helped us win a resolution request. Put all of your evidence, whatever it may be, photos, videos, screenshots of text messages, put them all in a folder. Dropbox is best. That way you can just, quickly and easily share the link with Airbnb support if it comes to that. If there's extra work, don't do it yourself. Pay someone else to do it and get an invoice, all right? Airbnb will not pay you for your time. They think your time is worth nothing. We all know that's not true, but that's what they think. They won't even pay you minimum wage. So you've got to pay somebody else, and they're happy to reimburse you once you get an invoice from that other person, all right? Get the guest to write to you, right? What I like to do is I like to ask, seemingly innocent questions, curiosity type questions, and just to get the guest talking about whatever it might be. A lot of times they'll self-incriminate themselves, spill the beans, and make your case for you. Here's an example of evidence where I caught a bunch of extra people going into the property. And so I think we charge $30 per additional person after 2 people or something like that. So if we've got 11 people in the property, that's 9 times 30, and that's the total amount we collected in that resolution request. Here's another example of evidence. We've just got some stains on a couch. We got a quote for cleaning, $100, and we were reimbursed for that. Now let's talk about submitting the resolution request, right? First of all, some claims just aren't worth pursuing. You've got to decide on a minimum claim amount. And if it's less than that, just kind of chalk it up as a business expense. What I do is I just add $5 to the cleaning fee, and that helps me with soaps, coffee, toilet paper, paper towels, and the occasional destroyed towel, right? You're going to want to submit all your evidence through the resolution, system, right, where you're requesting the money. And if you don't know how to do that, it's essentially you go to the Airbnb message thread, you click on the person whose reservation it is, and then there's a button at the top that says, request money or something like that. And then it's very self-explanatory to go through the process. There's a part where you can upload photos and stuff like that. And just be objective as possible, right? Stick to the facts, try, if this is your personal home, or, hopefully you don't have, a lot of very personal objects or personal property. in the property. But just don't get all emotional and don't start, attacking the guest or anything like that. Just be objective as possible. Hey, this is what we found. We found a stained couch after your reservation. That's it, right? Just be very respectful when submitting the note to the guest as well. At the very end of the resolution request, there's a field where you type in a message to, the guest. I like to say, hey, dear Sally, really appreciate you being a guest. We'd love to host you again. We really enjoyed hosting you. Our cleaners found, a stain on the couch. We called some companies and the cheapest one we found was $100 to come and, get the stain out of the couch. And, we'd just like for you to please accept the resolution request and pay it out as soon as possible. And we're looking forward to hosting you on the next time you're in town. Just be very, very, very respectful. Don't accuse the guest of anything. Just state the facts. That's all you need to do. When you interact with the guest, right, they have the option of ignoring you, which, a small minority of people might ignore you. They might just approve it immediately, another small minority. And what some people do, not everybody becomes resentful, but, a lot of people will fight it. Some people will actually become very, very resentful. And you're going to want to take your foot off the gas in that case, right? But just always remain respectful, right? If you only take one thing away from this training here, it is to always remain respectful to your guests and also the Airbnb support person once they become involved, right? So here are some really great tactics that are going to help you win this, money that you're asking for, right? First of all, submit your request before the next guest checks in. If you don't have back-to-back reservations like I do, and it might be a while before the next guest, make sure you do it within 14 days of the checkout time. Okay, and then don't write them a review until a few minutes before the review period is over. Right? If you need to, be a responsible host and really help the rest of us out and write an honest, but not so beneficial to the guest kind of review, wait until a few minutes before the review period is over so that if they write you a review, it doesn't show up on your listing for another 2 weeks. That's a great way to kind of, if you feel like you're going to get a bad review, you push it out from showing up on your actual listing for another 2 weeks, right? That way, by the time their review is public, it's below 2 more really good reviews, all right? And here's something that I found is a really great tactic for cooling people off, right? And this really works for people who get very, very upset that you're asking them to be accountable for their accidents, right? I don't believe people do things on purpose to, hurt my properties or anything like that. But there's a lot of people out there who don't like to be held accountable for accidents that occur, right? And so I always just thank them for their feedback. I had somebody tell me that I shouldn't have white towels because they're easily stained. And while that's true, they're also very easily, bleached. And so that's why we have white towels, just like every single hotel I've ever been to. And so I just, thanked them for their feedback and that really cooled them off. Take screenshots of all text communication that occurs outside of the platform. Type out any verbal communications that you guys might have. Try to stay away from hopping on the phone with them. But if it has to happen and they're just so irate, I've actually never had that happen. I'm just kind of making up a scenario here. But if you do have a verbal conversation with them, type it out, keep a record of that. Don't push the issue until after the review period has passed. Now, this is a great tactic that I've found to work, flawlessly, actually. Sometimes, and this isn't all the time, right? But sometimes I'll submit a damage request, and luckily this hardly ever happens, but it's a trend I'm noticing when it comes to damage requests. I'll submit the request, the person will become irate, and then I just thank them for their feedback, and I don't contact them about it. I don't involve Airbnb until after the 14-day review period has passed. Once they can no longer write me a review, right? They think, hey, 13 days ago, Nathan dropped this issue. They're not even thinking about it anymore. They've gone on with their lives. They're upset at somebody else, somebody new in their life, right? But they can't come back and write a retaliatory review for you. That's the point where you're going to want to involve Airbnb and really submit all of your evidence and really push your resolution request for a judgment in your favor. Okay. And if it seems like you're not getting anywhere with Airbnb and they're ignoring you, that's probably the case. I hate to say it, but that's probably what's happening. They're probably ignoring you. And so what I've found, probably the biggest tactic that you can do is just keep following up with Airbnb. You don't need to contact the guest anymore, right? At this point, if the guest has refused to pay you, you're going to want to involve Airbnb and follow up with them. And so copy the link to the Airbnb support message thread that you get, or if you use Gmail, you can copy the actual URL when you have the email open, and you can keep replying to that. And then you're just going to want to make events in your calendar until you get a final answer. Tweet Airbnb support. You can tweet them publicly, kind of put them on blast. You can call Airbnb support, and hopefully you can get somebody that will reopen the case for you, or kind of nudge it along and contact the person who's supposed to be handling it. But that's, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? I'd imagine it's a 95% success rate with getting my requests approved, because I have evidence, I keep it very objective, and I keep following up until I get a resolution. And so some of these claims have lasted, 2 or more even months, but it's not like I'm working 40 hours a week on these claims. I'm just hitting them up once a week. It takes 2 minutes. I click on the link to the support message thread. I send them a message that, hey, what's the latest? Where are we at with this thing? And so in summary, write your descriptions, do your work on the front end, write your rules to repel any kind of troublemakers, right? Irresponsible people even. Don't make petty claims. Gather your evidence. Make sure you submit that. Remain respectful throughout the process to all parties involved, and be the squeaky wheel. And my name's Nathan Rice. If you want more training like this, please subscribe to the YouTube channel below. And to get a free 3-part video training series on how to maximize profits from your Airbnb freedom business, use the link in the description. It's going to cover ways to forecast profit on new properties, rookie mistakes, how to avoid those, and the essential tech tools that I use to run my Airbnb business. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions at all related to this training, please post them in the comments below. If you have training or any questions at all related to other topics on Airbnb, you can email me at nathan@theairbnbcourse.com. And I look forward to hearing from you.